Hello, everyone. Welcome to another FPL Topguns with myself, Luke, and the main man, Az. Az, how are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. My daughter's birthday over the weekend,
Oh,
so
yeah. Yeah. Did you have
it's
a
been
nice bouncy castle, wasn't it?
lots of bouncy castles and
Mm,
slides and everything, and ball pits. Yeah, it
lovely.
was fun.
I went trampolining uh, last week, which was nice. With my friend just had a kid, so took him to like this. It's amazing. It's a big place filled with like trampolines and all bouncy stuff.
Oh yeah, we got one near us actually, called Bounce, in fact.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun being a
I
kid.
thought you were going to say you just went on your own. I was going to say that's pretty that is pretty out there, but interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's some people go to the cinema on their own. I hang around children's trampoline places on my own. Uh,
You surprised me.
yeah, or not. Be a bit strange.
Did you is that where you worked out when you were getting older? Because you seen like kids doing backflips and stuff, or did you actually just go for it and just throw
You know,
yourself head first into it?
I tried to do that when when you were a kid. You used to jump on the trampoline, go like down onto your knees, and then sort of go back up again.
Ah, okay. I don't know what the knee one's called, but the one onto your bum's a seat drop, as my kid
See,
does that.
yeah, I can't do the knee drop or the suit drop anymore because I just couldn't generate enough force to get myself back up. So yeah, I was
Your gut just throws you onto your face.
yeah, I was feeling my age for sure.
Right. How did you get on this week then? We both did okay, didn't we? Okay-ish.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we both adopted pretty different strategies. I think different captains, and we've actually got sort of a fair few different players now to each other. I think I've got about the same points. I'm on 64 after the hit, and I've got McGinn in action who hasn't done anything, and 2 goals Villa have scored at the current time we're talking. But I've got the match on, so hopefully he's gonna get something.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I thought I lost you for some reason. I don't know why it cut out on my thing. Okay, so 64. That's not bad. I've got him in Sky, so I hope he does do something for you, even if it will give you extra points. I got 62, so no hit for me. My big error was captain in Sterling. Apparently,
Mm.
you say our teams are so different. I'm so bored with my team. My team is as template as it comes. How did this happen? I just don't. I don't like it at all. Um,
But you haven't taken a massive hit this week, so
Yeah, it's like at least
where's
I've
the
got a
fun in
clean
that?
arrow. But yeah, it's the weeks I haven't taken a hit. I mean, obviously I've done bad on weeks I have taken hits as well. But all of the weeks where I've not taken a hit, I haven't done that well. I think
Yeah.
that's a sign. I should continue to do it.
Yeah. Whereas mine's the opposite. I think every time I've taken a hit, I've done terribly. So yeah, it shows more way to skin a cat.
Definitely. Yeah, the big talking point then I guess was the big difference between me having a very good week, I suppose, was me captaining Sterling over Vardy,
Mm,
2 points to 12. So
I did tell you.
yes, I know. My brother said to thank you, by the way, the one that I want to beat because he captained Vardy and now he's beating me by even more. So thanks for that, Az.
That's all right. I'm glad he's listening. Listening to the main man on the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. My other brother went Vardy as well, I think. So yeah, they both listen to you, which is annoying.
I think when something's
Have,
so obvious, sometimes it's the hardest thing to actually go with the obvious pick.
I did say I've had it on Vardy the whole week leading up to it, and I just thought it's just I don't know. It just felt a bit like you say too obvious. I wanted
Mm,
to, like people are turning away from Sterling, and I just thought, look, he's. I had my rationale last week. He's just like one of the best players in the league. Man City are one of the best teams, and he's at home, so I'll just go for it. And it was a bad decision in the end, really. I know the end part was really annoying, but I mean, Vardy could have scored even more goals. To be honest, watching the highlights, he could have had a hatful, and Sterling was largely anonymous till the last few minutes.
it's like I was saying. I just think that game against Brighton just plays so much into Leicester's hands and Vardy's hands. It was just like the perfect game for him. I'm annoyed that so many people went for Vardy. I think a few seasons ago, before there's got sort of so many things sort of pointing to Vardy. I think because it did seem to me there was loads of really good captaincy options this week, but
Yeah,
Vardy was kind of just so by far the most captain person. So I didn't get as big a kind of rank jump from it as I would have liked, but yeah, can't complain. too much.
I'm going to blame Joe, actually. He put me off it when we went on the Sky video. He started saying about how Leicester weren't that great away, or Brighton weren't that good at home, and then their replacement defenders will be all right. And he's a Brighton fan as well. And I put him ahead of you, Jazz. I shouldn't have done that.
Well, he's Jazz. That's a new one.
Jazz. So I was looking at Jimenez on my team as I said that.
Well, I'll take it. It's got a cool name, that. Yeah, I mean, Joe's obviously a better Brighton fan than I am, because I gave us no chance in that game. And yeah, I was unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, proved right.
But I am going to touch on the fact that I really do think I should have had some Sterling captain points, though. What was that decision at the end there?
I know.
It's just so heartbreaking.
I mean, I don't even own Sterling, but I know the pain of that kind of decision, because it's happened to me before, and it will happen again, because that is VAR now. It is a game that is designed to chalk off goals rather than get obviously wrong decisions right.
I mean, it's annoying. It's annoying for just fans in general. But when you mix it with FPL, I find it really, really annoying, because all your notifications come up, and you might be watching the game as well, and it's just so much is going on. And now I kind of just swipe off notifications, just expecting them to go away. It's just a horrible mix. And it's like people say, oh, if it wasn't VAR, like the ref had just ruled it out, would you be as annoyed? And I'd be annoyed, but not as annoyed, because when they then show me the thing and I see how ridiculous it is in terms of, I couldn't care if his foreskin was slightly off or anything. Why are we forensically examining stuff like that? People say, oh, it's the decision. It was either right or it was wrong. But if we have to go forensically into it like that, that for me is lost. I mean, surely the Premier League's brand and stuff is about excitement and goals, and how many goals are getting chalked off as a result of this now?
I know.
It just seems mad to me.
I just keep coming back to this thing I listen to, with a guy who he's involved with tech in some way, and he was saying that there has to be a certain, an inch or a couple of inches of error for VAR can't be 100% accurate in the way they're stopping the frames and just taking it, because you can look at different angles, you can look at different frames, you can't stop the frame as soon as it's left the foot, because there's always a bit of it's hard to tell whether when it's exactly left the foot, and the lines they're drawing, like the manual lines and things, and just a guy up in Stockley Park just drawing mad lines and trying to claim that his armpit's offside. It's not enough room for error, so they shouldn't be disallowing them.
Completely agree. And we used to have it where when it was offsides and stuff, if they were basically pretty much level, which that was, to me, that was level, you should give the advantage to the attacker. And I actually like that, because now, if imagine you're a striker and you're trying to make these runs and stuff, they're all dipping into the line and then dipping out of it, clever little movements and stuff. Getting those right now, you have to be literally a whole person behind him almost for it to work. It's almost no point even making them runs as a footballer now. It's just, I just don't like it. I mean, it might not necessarily VAR, it might be the implication, but I was against it from the start, and I would just scrap the whole lot, man. I'm just annoyed with it. I want errors to be made by people again, because don't get me wrong, if everything was absolutely bang on, if this was working and they were calling everything by the letter forensically the whole way, maybe I might have a slight, I might be able to accept it even if I don't like it. But they're still getting stuff wrong, in my opinion, or at least the rules that they're choosing to use VAR on are just ridiculous. It's just, I can't. I'll go back to it. The brand of the Premier League is just all about excitement and stuff, and all we're talking about is these crappy little lines and stuff every week now. It's not for me.
I know, and to be honest, when at the start of the season, when we knew VAR was coming in, I think we all kind of thought it would be quite exciting for FPL, because didn't we think Virgil van Dijk would get 15 goals because he's always getting fouled in the box, and there'd be more penalties and all this kind of stuff. And actually, it's definitely impacted my enjoyment of FPL and football negatively, and I think the majority of people kind of feel the same. And people watch football at the end of the day to enjoy it, and if it's not breeding enjoyment, then it should just be binned. I don't think it should be binned off, because it can work. It just needs to be done. It just needs to be done fucking sensibly. Just just use it sensibly. Don't put someone offside because they've got an armpit offside, and then definitely don't bloody do like a press statement saying his armpit was offside. That was Firmino, wasn't it? Like, oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
we judged that his armpit was offside. It's like, are you kidding?
Yeah, who cares, honestly?
Yeah.
And it's the inconsistency with it as well. There was that goal not too long ago that Salah scored, where they didn't even check it. He just like ran through on goal, scores, and it didn't even show us that they checked it. And it comes to the end of the game, and then there was all these lines being thrown about that it showed that he might have been just slightly offside, or no one could really tell. But the point is, they just gave the goal and moved on with their life. Didn't even show a clip of it on TV. Didn't even talk about it until about 10 minutes afterwards. And then in other times, they'll just put it up and analyse it with lines for 10 minutes. It's just...
The thing is, if they didn't give that goal to Sterling, would the people in the studio be like forensically analysing it and be like, oh, they should have given it offside? They would have just said it's too close to call. They did the right thing by giving the goal. Like, I don't know why they're making themselves so much extra work and making it so difficult just to get it kind of. I don't know. I think it's stupid. I mean, this is coming from a non-Sterling owner, so I literally don't even have the bias of not getting his
No.
points. I just hate it. I just think it's
This
ridiculous.
is a decision as well that has only really affected Sterling himself, who put out a tweet, and probably fantasy managers and like gamblers and stuff, because obviously it didn't actually affect the result in the end. So I don't think it's been blown up as much as it would have been if that had decided the game, like City Chelsea. Then you know what I mean.
I'll tell you what was funny a few weeks ago. You remember De Bruyne got the goal, but then they gave it to Silva, I think, who touched it right at the end. But De
Oh
Bruyne,
yeah, the phantom touch from
yeah, I saw someone on Twitter. He had a bet on De Bruyne to score and Silva to score. So he got he got the goal. They paid out on the goal for De Bruyne, and then at the end of the match they changed it to Silva, so to pay him out again for
Nice.
both goals. So he basically got paid twice for one goal, which
Why do I
was.
never get that sort of
No, I
jam?
know exactly.
That is ridiculous.
I've given up with betting now. I don't even know how much I lost like over the last few seasons. I won big once on had a free £50 bet and I put it on De Bruyne to score against PSG. That won like 400 quid. And then
Nice.
since then I've lost every bet. I've easily lost that 400 quid. That's how they get you.
Yeah, I haven't gambled for probably 4 or 5. I mean, when I was in my heyday, like doing actually well in Sky and FPL and everything, I didn't bet that much, but I can remember one specific one that I bet on Nasri to be first goal scorer and Arsenal to win 3-2, and put a fiver on it, and I got like 800-900 quid or something stupid, and because it happened. I mean, who would bet that sort of bet? That's
I
how
know.
bad a gambler I am.
Yeah,
That's a ridiculous bet. But yeah, overall definitely down. So gave that up straight away. Mugs game that is.
Actually, talking about gambling, what did you think of my transfers this week? Because I'm actually sitting pretty happy with these. Hasn't been rewarded straight away in points, but I took out. I think I was talking to you last. I took out Pereira and Hudson-Odoi and bought in Soyuncu and Maddison. And okay, they scored sort of roughly around the same or whatever. Maddison got 3, but I've made 0.6 on those moves.
Really,
Can
that's
you?
mad.
I mean, can you like that? And that's in one game week. 0.6. That
So
seems
that's where
crazy to me.
the aggression and going for these sort of things when the market's swinging like that can let you win even when you lose, don't you? I mean, you've got that money now. That may come in handy later down the line, like massively. You just don't know yet. So yeah, and obviously Hudson-Odoi ain't starting matches either, is he? So
Well, no, exactly. And Pereira and Soyuncu. I mean, Pereira got one more point than Soyuncu. I mean, I thought that was a dream game for Pereira. So he didn't even get any
yeah.
attacking return. So I think there's not. If you've still got Pereira, I just don't think there's not enough in it. And it's like 1.7 difference or something.
I reluctantly lost him this week. That was my one transfer. So if I just saved it, I'd have actually gained 1 extra point. But yeah, I reluctantly get rid of him. I still really rate him as a player, but right, when Sionchu's that much cheaper, he doesn't seem to offer enough. We say that until he gets like a brace or something later down the line. But there we go. I mean, why not have them both the way Leicester are defending? I mean, we're gonna run through some of the games because we haven't done that for a while, and we don't have anything really else to speak about. We're not going to lie to you, so we'll run through the games.
Do we ever?
Well, yeah, we already rambled off and gone completely away from fantasy for about 10 minutes, but there will be some coming. Don't worry. Yeah, I mean, why not? Everyone's talking double up on Liverpool defence and all this sort of stuff. I mean, is there not a case for just getting 2 Leicester defenders in because they're just ridiculously good, aren't they?
Yeah, and it is, the next 4 games are ridiculously good as well. I
Mm,
guess the vast majority of people have 2 Leicester at this point, a defender and a striker. And I guess the option for anyone else is, do you get a Leicester midfielder? So a lot of people are going for Tielemans, Maddison, Perez scored again, who some people might have held on to.
mm.
Yeah, or do you do the double up? I mean,
Got
yeah,
4 clean sheets in a row
yeah, 4 in a
in
row.
a season where basically no team seems to keep any, or certainly in a row. Like, I think Man City have got like 5 somehow over the course of the season, but they're sporadic. You got Sheffield United who went for a little phase of getting them, but this is probably the biggest implication we've had, or impact, of clean sheets, like all back to back, and with those
Mm.
good games coming up. I mean, if you've doubled that, if you had Chilwell and Soyuncu during this period, I think you've done pretty well for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the defenders are getting bonus as well, aren't they? I know Chilwell got 2
Mm.
bonus against Brighton. I think Pereira got 1 as well. I think
He
did
got a
so.
goal and 2 assists one game as well, didn't he, or something like
Yeah,
that?
well, it's something ridiculous. Yeah, so like they're not even just keeping clean sheets; they're keeping clean sheets and getting the bonus points as well, which you might expect to be going to some of the attacking players. I mean, Vardy's
Mm.
hoovering them up every week, but
Mm.
the defense is doing really well on those. So yeah, I mean, for 6 million and under, you can't really be doing much better. I mean, for 5 million, Soyuncu just seems like such a steal.
Mm. Well, the thing is, it's like anything. If the clean sheets do start disappearing for Leicester, because they used to have a habit of just concede, they've basically switched roles with Liverpool. Like, now they're getting clean sheets and attacking returns,
Mm,
but for even cheaper. And Leicester used to just concede like one annoying goal all the time, even though the defence looked reasonable. Even under the previous manager, occasionally that would be the case, where they should have kept a clean sheet, but they wouldn't. And now Liverpool have taken on that role of just conceding one goal all the time. It's really frustrating, actually, because I've got 2 Liverpool defenders, and I'm sitting there thinking, why haven't I got 2
mm.
Leicester defenders?
Well, at least you've got the Liverpool defender who's scoring points every week. Robertson has gone on.
Yeah,
He's on a great run, isn't he?
he's been great for me since I brought him in, and I
Mm.
was worried about him even starting this week. Um, so I was thinking, like, what should I do with him? Shall I get rid, because they're still not keeping clean sheets? They've got 2 clean sheets in like 13 games or something now, and yeah, I think it's 2 this season they've got.
Yeah,
Um,
one against Burnley, one against Sheffield United.
just how are they conceding these goals? I'm stubborn to the end, and I know that you actually defended Liverpool. I think it was against David or something on fantasy. It was like game week 3 or something. So it was a long time ago. But
Yeah.
basically saying, like, they're going to be value, they're going to be great, they're going to keep clean sheets. Obviously, have you changed your mind on that, or are you still firmly stubborn with me, and I'm just going to have to sit with them?
Well, no, I hate to say, I think I have changed my mind, because when you've got 13 games of evidence ahead of you, you've got to kind of be a bit. You've got to kind of admit that actually it doesn't look like they can, and I don't really know why. I can't really give you an answer. I mean, they didn't have Allison for a large part of the season, which you can kind of say that didn't really help them. But now he's come back. They've lost Matip, which I think is a bit of a blow, because he was one of their best players at the start of the season. So partnered with Van Dijk, you've got either Lovren, who no one likes, or
Apparently, he's
Gomez.
playing well at the moment, though. Apparently.
Yeah, is he? Yeah, maybe I haven't watched enough Liverpool. I mean, is he? Can he be playing that well though, if they're conceding every match?
Well, I think a lot of the defensive issues have come down to Trent. People just target him all the time, which is a pretty obvious thing to do, because he can't really defend, can he? I mean, I used to think that he was I knew he always had a rep of not being the greatest defender, but this season he has been exploited quite a lot. Some
Hmm,
of the times, some of the things have been quite comical. His positioning's all over. But I suppose it's because he is literally their main attacking output, like
yeah.
a creative hub. Like, no one in their midfield, really, centre midfield 3, really creates anything. It all comes from Robbo and Trent. Like, it's so obvious as to what they're going to do. And there's like pretty much no one who can stop it. Um, and I really don't know whether I should have 2 or not. I've got them, and it would just take major surgery to switch it, and it just seems mad to do it ahead of their run of fixtures. So I think I'm just going to have to sit here and wait it out. If I get the opportunity to just downgrade one of them to maybe back to Chilwell or Pereira again down the line, then I suppose I'm going to have to do it. But I honestly don't know who I'd even pick.
I
Robertson's
mean,
the one getting the points, and Trent is the one who is the biggest. He's possibly the biggest troll ever, I think.
yeah,
2 points every week.
I know. I think he's. I mean, I if I were you, I wouldn't be selling. 'Cause, I mean, you look at the last 3 games which Robertson's delivered in. Villa away. I don't think Villa are that easier team, especially at home. Yeah, they're scoring loads of goals. Low for 5 against Norwich. They've got 2 against Newcastle tonight. I kind of look at Villa and I sort of see them scoring most weeks because it looks like Grealish, Wesley, Hourihane on the set pieces, El Ghazi, like they seem to have an eye for goal. So not an easy game. Then he had City. Okay, you're not expecting to really keep a clean sheet in that one. And then Palace away. Okay, you might be expecting one there. But I mean, the next 4 games, Brighton at home, we ain't going to score.
Please be right.
We are rubbish away from home, and our record against Liverpool is absolutely awful. Liverpool and Leicester are just since we've been in the Premier League, have been the 2 teams which just walk all over us. Everton at home, if they've still got Silva at that point, they ain't scoring. Bournemouth away.
What has happened to Moise Keane? Let me stop you here. What has happened to him? Like, where is he? Has anyone sent out a search party? I'm genuinely worried.
Well, no, it was very important for Everton to play with pretty much 3 defensive mids against Norwich. So, you can completely understand. I mean, you look at that lineup and I just thought, you've got to win this game. Like, this is your moment. Like, win this game. Norwich are in the worst form they've ever been. You're at home. Like, play some of your exciting play. Iwobi didn't play, did he?
I'm not even sure. He keeps rotating the team all the time up there. I didn't see him in the match of the day highlights.
I think Walcott started.
Walcott genuinely played. Yeah, Walcott played.
Walcott started. Sigurdsson started, and then played the 90, even though he's been pretty awful all season. He didn't play Iwobi. He just got 30 minutes, and he didn't play Moise Keane.
Big money signing as well, because they haven't got a striker pretty much. They got back to Tosin, which has obviously worked wonders for him since they've come.
What is he, Tosin? What is he doing starting? Like, I thought he was like 4th choice behind Calvert-Lewin, Keane, and Richarlison up front. Like, what is Tosin doing starting?
I don't know. The thing is, I sit there and think, like, everyone's talking about he should be getting the sack, and I don't think you can really argue with that at the moment. But then look at their games, right? Away to Leicester, away to Liverpool, arguably the 2 best teams in the league at the moment. Home to Chelsea, possibly the 3rd best team in the league, or they're having a shout. Away to Man United, and then home to Arsenal, which is probably an easier game than it's made out. But still, those four games there. Would you want to even bring a new manager in right now? Because I'm thinking that will just completely buzzkill it. Like, if you're sat there as the board, usually I think they like to time these things for like an uplifting set of fixtures where you've got a chance to put a run and get behind the manager. You bring a new manager in, I don't care who he is. He ain't winning against Leicester or Liverpool, is he? Let's be honest. And Chelsea's going to be extremely tough, as is Man United. So I think you'd be mad to actually replace him right now. They may as well just sit here and do their homework.
Do you remember though that was it the West Brom manager? They got rid of whoever it was, and that guy came in. Was it Steve Clark? And
I do remember this.
They had a run of like 5 games. It was towards the end of the season. Had like United and Spurs and Chelsea, and he won like 4 of them or something like completely ridiculous. I mean, Everton should be top of the league. I mean, I swear I haven't seen Everton with a bad fixture all season. But every week I look at them and I'm like, that's a good fixture for Richarlison or Dean or someone.
Yeah, I started the season with Dean's been a big troll actually. I started the season with him and I think he got like 13 points or something, like a big haul in either game week 1 or 2. And that's pretty much where most of his points have come from. I think didn't they start with like 2 or 3 clean sheets in a row as well, and then just pretty much failed.
They started off like being unable to score, but keeping it pretty solid, and now they still can't score and they can't keep it solid.
Yeah, that's a big fat avoid for Everton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Just briefly flipping back to Liverpool, I honestly think Trent has survived. Obviously, based on his numbers in the background, the eye tests, obviously that factors into it. But I think he's more survived at that price because there's just not any other people we want to spend the money on. I'm sitting there with
Mm.
like, I don't know what to do with the money. You know, like I could swap him for someone, but it's like, what would I even do with the cash? And it doesn't seem to be many people I would go for. So it's like, I think people have just kind of left him in there because they've just had other things to look at, and they just don't know what they do with the cash. I think it's just circumstance that have led to keep him
Yeah,
free.
and I think when you look at sort of the players around the team, I mean, most of the players people want are sort of quite reasonably priced, like Abraham, Vardy, Madison.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and so like
Mount, who's filling most of the
Mount, I
team.
know
Mane
that.
is the cheaper option than Salah, who's doing better. You
Yeah,
know,
that's it.
Jimenez is cheap-ish. Soyuncu, it's just Lundstrom, just obviously like the guy. I know you still don't have him, you madman, but 4 million, and he's now got more points than Salah, Aguero,
I
you
know.
name it.
Yeah, and I
Mad.
mean, players like Aubameyang and Kane and Aguero, just aren't really very tempting because they're the premium players who if Kane scored a hat trick against West Ham, and his heat map is absolutely incredible. He's had loads of touch in the box and he looks like a new man. Then people might be looking to shift their funds around, and Trent could be someone who drops out.
That's
But
what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
I watched that game. Kane had a good start, but again, I still think he's just he's just getting the ball too deep, and he's not making enough efforts against the box
Yeah.
when they win it back.
He just can't run anymore. It's as
No.
simple as that. I don't know whether it's injuries or what. I mean, he never really had. He's not the kind of body shape to be someone who can sprint and run around the pitch. But when he first came through for Spurs, he was able to get the ball and sort of burst past a couple of people, more just with lanky strides and strength. But he would be able to shift that ball and hit it. Not quite like Aguero would do in tight spaces, but when Aguero was in his absolute prime, he'd get the ball
Mm.
low centre of gravity, shift it out of his feet, and just hit it, and you just couldn't stop it. Even though you knew what he was going to do, it was just too quick, too technical. And Kane obviously didn't have that low centre of gravity thing, but he would still be able to get a shot off. He would always be able to get the ball in and around the area. He'd turn the centre back or whatever he would do, and he would get that shot off with a little tiny burst of, I guess you'd say, pace. But you know what I mean, like just more quick thinking or a snappy movement. And he just doesn't seem to have that anymore. He just ambles around the pitch. The guy's still got a ridiculously good shot
Yeah.
on him. And I think he'll have that for a long time. I mean, you don't really lose that kind of ball striking. And he's obviously got penalties. So,
But you look at his like physique. He looks absolutely ripped. He looks like he spent loads of time like in the
yeah,
gym, like getting like really hench. Then he just never really takes defenders on, never really uses like his strength anymore, and almost plays as a kind of
yeah, he's
not even
just
a
a good.
number 10. Like he plays like in a kind of central midfield role a lot of the time.
He's a good player. That's the problem. I say he drops and he starts pinging a few passes around, and they're actually usually pretty decent.
Yeah,
He literally needs someone to tell him to stay up top like Vardy. I know he doesn't have the pace like Vardy, but Vardy literally stays up top and he doesn't even care if he doesn't touch the ball,
no.
apart from to score. And I think someone probably has to do that with
I
Kane.
think Mourinho is going to do that because you look at Mourinho strikers over the years, Drogba, Costa, like Ibrahimovic, all these players, like they weren't dropping deep and linking up play in central midfield and then not bursting into the box
No,
when
I
they got a
suppose
goal, were
not. But
they? Like,
they were more I mean, Costa was certainly a battler, and Ibrahimovic had the strength and he could battle. He didn't really have the pace, but
yeah, but Kane isn't battling; he's just loafing around.
no, that's what I mean. I mean, maybe he'll sort it out. But until he can
It wasn't
somehow
very.
get his burst of pace back or that early,
Yeah,
when he first burst into the scene, I just don't think he's the same player. And I don't know whether that's a result of injuries or, just coming through at the wrong time or, like I say, his body shape. Some people just drop off. It just happens. I mean, look at
well,
Walcott.
I know. Yeah, but I mean, he shouldn't be dropping off. He's what, 26?
Sometimes it happens at different ages for players, isn't it? I mean, Rooney actually pretty much started dropping off I don't know, like 28, 29 or something.
Yeah, I
He
get.
was
Yeah,
really good. He was obviously 16 when he came through, and he's probably at his best around 18 years old.
yeah, but I mean,
Michael Owen
he's
wasn't
doing it
far
for
off it.
England though, isn't he, Kane?
He is. He is. So maybe it is tactical rather than anything else. But England are also playing farmers most of the time. Not forget, and they've got
Yeah,
people like Sterling,
Sancho almost.
Sancho,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they've got a lot of pace all around the team. Whereas Spurs, I mean, they've got Son, and apart from that, I don't think there's that much pace. I mean,
But
I suppose
again,
Moore's got it, but he doesn't play.
you could argue that like he drops deep in Spurs midfield because there isn't much creativity around, especially not with Eriksen not there. But then you look at England's midfield, look, Dyer, Winks, and Henderson. Like, it's not exactly
It's top tier,
bursting
mate.
with not exactly bursting with creativity there, and he doesn't seem to drop it. So no, I find it very odd. I think if anyone can unlock him though, it's Mourinho. I don't like Mourinho, but I do think his tactics are going to call for a proper number 9 who's going to be the main focal point and score most of their goals. Because
Yeah,
Son's going to be pushed out wide, and I know he had a good he had a great game against West Ham, got a goal and assist, but he's not going to be playing him like Pochettino did, almost as a second striker. He's going to want him being industrious up and down the wing. It's Ali I'm looking at. I think Ali in the number 10 role. He's the exciting one.
yeah, he looked decent. I mean, I didn't watch the game live, which I really wanted to. That's obviously I was at my daughter's birthday, like I said, but um, it was intriguing to see. But the problem is West Ham was so bad. I don't know whether we can judge anything yet. I mean, they only won 3-2 as well. Like,
Yeah.
just came back. And I just don't know how much to take from it. I mean,
But
you could argue you can't take too much from like 8 games, let alone 1.
we've
But
talked about this though. Everyone's bad. You've got
they
Bournemouth
are,
at
aren't
home
they?
next. They're rubbish. Then you got United. They're rubbish.
Yeah, we are. Well, Norwich are rubbish as well, and then they suddenly turn up and beat Everton. It's like you say, everyone's just bad. It's like home to Bournemouth, you would think that that's an easy win for Jose. Like the crowd will be behind it, everything. First game at home since he's there. But Bournemouth are that kind of team who can just turn up randomly. So I don't think that's as foregone as everyone thinks. Rico will turn up. Rico turn up with like 2 goals or something.
Well, Ali's definitely in my thoughts. Aubameyang's. I think whatever Aubameyang does against Norwich, I'm gonna be getting rid of him after this week. And I think Ali probably is the one that I'm going to be looking at because
I was looking at him as well, which is a worry because I could actually do Robertson to someone like Charlie Taylor because then I could just play Lundstrom every week or Taylor, whoever. And then I could switch Trossard, who's obviously not doing anything and got bad games at the moment, to Dele Alli. I could do that for a -4 or just do it in a couple of weeks' time. So that's something I'm looking at. But
I
I
mean
kind of don't want to move early yet.
John Lundstrom's games after Wolves, Newcastle at home, Norwich away, Villa at
Mad
home,
run, isn't it?
Brighton away, Watford at home. I mean, I've resisted him for this long, but I'm saving a transfer this week basically just to get him in next week because I'm not going without him for that run. That would just I'll be
See
bloody
that
5 million in the world if I don't have him for that.
that's where I think that you're better than me in that regard because I'm so stubborn that I would never buy Lundstrom now, not for that price that he is, because I refuse to. Like, I obviously had him from the start, so I don't have that decision. But I know if I was in your position now, despite those great games, despite him having more points than Salah, and do you know he had I think his XG, which I know not everyone likes, but I think he's the 4th highest or something.
Yeah.
He's certainly the 4th highest underachiever. He got an XG of 0.49, so half a goal from the weekend. So
But
not only did he get the assists, it looked like he may have been on for a clean sheet at one point and probably could have scored a goal as well.
Well, do you know what?
Again.
If I hadn't watched the game yesterday, I mean, it was the first time I've seen Sheffield United this season, I think. And like normally you have like the fear of a certain player when you don't own them. So like I've had it
Yeah.
with Son before when he's been really highly owned, and every time he gets the ball, you think he's just definitely going to score. Or someone like Salah, or you have these players, these really highly owned top players. I mean, the fact I was watching this game, and his attacking returns for a 4 million defender, I just felt were just completely inevitable against Man U. Like
Yeah.
it had been De Gea's save like early on to keep him out was unbelievable.
You
He
could argue, like honestly, like genuinely, you could captain Lundstrom in some of these games coming up because, like we said before, his ceiling is so high because he gets that clean sheet when a team that can get them, and he gets that goal, and obviously he's getting like 6 points plus the bonus straight away. So that's 9 points for a goal. He's obviously got assists and goals in his locker apparently. You just have to hit one of those games like he got a 21-point haul, didn't he?
Yeah,
Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, or whatever it was. That could happen again, like in this run.
you could captain him game weeks 15 to 19, and it wouldn't even be that ridiculous.
No, I know. It's mad.
Yeah.
That's the week I used my triple captain on Sterling for 1 point, and I should have played it on Lundstrom. That sums up this season. I got 1 point from Raheem, and Lundstrom gets 21.
21. Oh,
Taking the piss.
yeah.
Imagine I put it on him. Not only would I be like regarded as the greatest Maverick ever to exist, but I'd have an extra 42 points sat right here.
Yeah, that is crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Right. Who should we move on to? Who should we discuss? We've done Everton, we've done Liverpool, we've done Leicester-ish. Arsenal, your boys? Horrific. I know we're talking of shit teams.
Please don't call them my boys.
They are your boys. Once now you've got Aubameyang,
Oh.
you've adopted them, mate. I'm sorry.
Can I just put Aubameyang into perspective for you? Right. So I bought Aubameyang in game week 8. Right. And he had a run of Bournemouth at home, Sheffield United away, Crystal Palace at home, Wolves at home. Right. He got one goal over those 4 games. Before that, he got 9-5, 13, 9-5, 6-6.
Can I remind you, as I got him the same game week as you, and just managed to jump off him slightly earlier than you. So I was also hurt by that. Believe me, that involves selling various players. But what can you do, man? The guy's got that record. We mention it nearly every week. The guy's got a ridiculous record of scoring goals. He still manages to find points somehow in what is true. Honestly, if they didn't have Aubameyang and arguably Lacazette, now he's come back, I'm pretty sure there'd be relegation fight.
He doesn't find points. He's found me a goal and assist in like 6 games. He's 11 million.
Okay, he was finding points and then he stopped looking eventually.
Oh, and it's so frustrating because like Lacazette last year was one of my worst transfers because you remember like Emery just kept subbing him at like half time.
Mm.
And then Aubameyang would go on and score a couple of goals, and I was stuck with Lacazette thinking, oh no, why don't I get Aubameyang? Well, this year I went for Aubameyang, thought I'd treat myself, and now bloody Lacazette gets 2 goals against Southampton. Oh,
and
so
now Arsenal have got to
frustrating.
play away where they're shocking against Norwich, who might actually be buzzing now, and under the conditions where if Emery is still manager, the negativity in that dressing room. I know it's like an obvious you should hold because of the game, but really should you? I don't know.
I know, and it's annoying because I saw that Arsenal lineup and I actually thought this looks quite exciting. Like if I was an Arsenal fan, like with Ozil there and Aubameyang and Lacazette both playing up top, and Tierney was in the team at left back, and Bellerin was back, and I don't know. I looked at the team and I thought, like they should win this game pretty comfortably, 3-4-0, and then they're just absolutely they just when
they got
you,
Danny Ings.
I know. When the trouble is when you're Arsenal, you go into every game knowing that you need to score 2 or 3 goals because you just know you're going to concede every match. It's got to be pretty disheartening for your attacking players.
It's just the way they set up. Like I think they conceded. I can't remember the exact stat now, but it's something like in the last 2 games against Southampton and they played Leicester. I think was it last week. They conceded something like 53 shots or something in 2 games. And it's like been a trend all season. They just concede so many shots, even against Wolves. I mean, Jimenez has got ridiculous shot volume at the moment. Everyone's looking at it and saying, oh, look how many shots he's had in the last 3 weeks. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if 70% of them were against Arsenal. Like, that's just what they do. Like, they skew numbers. There's always teams that skew the numbers. Like, Man City are usually famed for it. You look after like the first 3 weeks and it's like anyone who's played Man City has just had their team stats absolutely demolished. Arsenal are like the shot boosting team. Like anyone who's played them, like you look at their sort of shot volume the last 3 weeks, as long as it includes Arsenal, I guarantee you it will be high up there. And it skews things. Not that I don't think Jimenez is a great pick, by the way, just want to add that in there. But I mean, Southampton away from home getting 2 goals. They've been struggling to score like of late. They've been really bad. Like offensively, defensively. They got pumped 9-0 2 weeks back.
I know.
And they're still managing to get goals with...
Well, I mean
everyone knows Danny Ings is the only man who can score in their entire team. I think Redmond's got like 1 goal in about 15 matches now. Something's done like that.
Yeah, I mean, and Ings, he's got 6 goals this season. He got 7 goals last season. He's actually looking quite decent. I think he's being managed quite well because he's got so many injury problems. But
they've got a great run.
They have got a great run. I mean, I just the trouble is that I am looking at Ings and thinking, because they've got an amazing run of games. Like you said,
Yeah.
Watford at home, Norwich at home, Newcastle, West Ham, Villa. He is someone I'm looking at. The trouble with him is, and it's exactly the same problem that I got into last year, is I just find 6 million is just quite an awkward price for him. Like if you can get Ings in and leave a bit of money in the bank, then
That's the
fine.
way you'd have to do it, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
if you
but
structure your team and he gets injured, or like you say, goes off the boil, it's just like, who do
yeah,
you go to?
I mean, you've got Mousse, who's sort of 5 million, who
Yeah,
looks quite
true.
good, but they've got a lot of he very rarely does 90 minutes, and they've got a lot of attacking options. With
He came off injured as
Goldrick
well.
and but then he's got a bit of an injury. I mean, there's Maupay at Brighton, but he's kind of in and out of the team as well, and he's a good player, but he's not really smashing the goals in like Danny Ings.
I
Uh,
was so close to starting the season with Danny Ings, and like he was in so many of my sort of drafts. Him and who's the other lad who was up front who I decided was the younger version who was actually going to
yeah,
score
you
goals.
liked Che Adams, didn't you?
That was it. Che
Yeah.
Adams. That would have been a disaster.
He's isn't he, he's like their record signing, isn't he? I don't think he's
Yeah,
played. I don't think he's played at all this season. I can't remember him
yeah.
starting.
He did. He did. He's played most of the games to begin with. He just couldn't hit a barn door.
Mm.
So no, he's not been playing. Yeah, but Ings, like you say, he's always his expected goals were great last season. His points per minute's great. Everything about him is always good. It's just been that worry that like he'll get injured again, and it's not happening at the moment. But it looks like prime troll time for me. Just coming up to Christmas, you just think this would be the time, like you say, you'd restructure your team, you'd spend that money, and then that happens, and it's just like,
That's
God, what would you do?
to me that is the problem, because I mean I think it was less of a problem maybe earlier in the season when you had you had quite a few players around the 6 million mark who'd be quite easy to move to. So you had Pookie, you had Ings, you had people were going for Haller, who was like 7.2,
You can say it.
Wesley,
Basically, you
Wood.
didn't have Vaj, which you've got now, which is just unbeatable. Vaj is,
I
is
haven't got
supreme.
Vaj. I've got Ava.
I don't know what that is. What's Ava?
Was Aubameyang in it, and Vardy and Abraham.
Oh yeah.
I haven't got Jimenez. I'll tell you one player though who could be a decent, sort of, what's the word? If Ings gets injured, you could move to him. Are you of Palace?
Yeah, another team with just ridiculous fixtures.
So
Like
5.1. They have the just an unbelievable run of games until the 11th of January, when they play Arsenal, which you could argue it's got a 4 on the FDR on FPL, but really it's probably a 1 from an attacking point of view.
if Emre's still in charge, yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean I don't particularly want a Palace attacker, but what you need if you go for someone like Ings is you need some people that you can fall back
And
on.
out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
suppose
out.
with Mose and Ayew, you could argue
And
they've got them.
you could say Chris Wood as well at 6.2. So yeah, I think he's a much better pick than he was when I got him in last year. I think he was 5.5, and there was literally no one around. But yeah, if anyone's considering, just have in mind that you might need an exit strategy, because he's very brittle.
So what? Actually, because most people I see all the teams have got the same front line as me, Vaj, but you've got Aubameyang. So, if you are looking to get rid of Aubameyang, are you looking to go down to a player that price, or what are you actually looking to do? Or are you just going to come to Jimenez, or what? What is your plans to do with that person? Or go to
Oh, that's a very good question. So Aubameyang is going to leave after Norwich. I would be, if he hits a hat trick against Norwich and Emery gets sacked, then maybe I'd keep him. But I can't see either of those things happening. So he's probably
No.
going to leave. So my plan at the moment is drop Aubameyang and get and sort of upgrade either Rico or Kelly, which we haven't done the Rico Kelly watch in a while, but one of those two. Probably Rico actually. I'm actually leaning towards Kelly now that Ward's got a bit of an
Way.
injury. Oh no, oh god, this season's crazy. But I need to upgrade one of those to Lundstrom. I cannot go on that run of Sheffield United without Lundstrom. So that's probably my way of doing it. So that means Aubameyang can leave for,
Sacrificing Aubameyang to get Lundstrom.
yeah,
What is this season?
that,
Carry
and
on.
it's not even ridiculous. Like you can't even
No.
call it like stupid.
No.
It's mad. Yeah. So Jimenez fits that plan perfectly. He would come in and then have West Ham at home as well in that game. So really good fixture. And then that would leave me enough money in the bank to do McGinn to Ali the following week.
Okay, so just playing two up tops, or I drifted out there while I was looking at fixtures. Is that right?
No. Yeah. No. I'd have uh, I'd have VAR.
Okay, you'd have
Vardy,
VAR.
Abraham. No, not VAR. Vaj. I'd have Vaj. Where'd I get R from? Yeah, I'd have Vaj. I'd have Vaj like everyone else. Everyone that's sensible. I'd have
Okay,
Vardy,
so long
Abraham.
long story short is you're coming back to the trend that everyone else has on Twitter and being boring.
Well, yeah, but it's really hard to argue against Jimenez when he scored in the last 3 matches. He's got West Ham at home, game week 15, who are shambles, and then Brighton, who can't defend,
Mm,
and then Tottenham, and then Norwich. Like, they're four good games. He's in great form. I don't think they've. Isn't it their last Europa League game tonight until after Christmas? Is that
probably, I
right?
don't
Or
know.
is there
I
another
don't know
one?
to be honest.
Maybe there's another one as well, but less Europa League games. They probably would have qualified, but then anyway. So yeah, I just think he looks a really good pick. What's interesting about me getting in Jimenez and Lundstrom though is they are two players who have literally killed me over the last 2 years. I didn't own Jimenez at all last season, and he just every week just destroyed me. And Lundstrom this year has destroyed me. So I imagine I'll get them both in, and they'll both be shit. So good luck to anyone anyone
Well,
who
I've
gets
got
those two.
both those players, so that's kind of annoying that you'll be getting them, to be honest. But there we go.
Yeah, but at least you've had them earlier than me, and you paid 4 million for Lundstrom and probably a lot less for Jimenez, and I'll be having to spend a lot more money. I mean, Ali, I just think Ali is going to be my main differential. I think over Christmas.
See, I wanted him as my differential if I was
No,
going to get
well,
it.
you can't have him now. He's mine.
No, I'm not going to get him now.
No, good.
Think of another plan.
You can get Ericsson
Well,
instead.
oh yeah, that's going to work wonders. Well, maybe Celso comes back into the team. Everyone, I always see Spurs fans talking this guy up. Now, I don't really know pretty much anything about him, to be honest with you, apart from Football Manager. And then they're saying like he's a really great player. He's just not really shown it. But now he's like on the bench regularly. Apparently, he's very creative. So
Mm.
I guess he might be one to look out for. But does that kind of strike you as a Jose kind of player? I don't really know.
No, I mean Mora does interest me a bit as well because I think if
Mm.
Son is going to move over to the left and be up and down, that's a lot of money, 9.7 to be paying for him. Mora's on the other flank at 7 million. I think that is quite a tempting one. It's interesting that Sissoko missed out because I thought he would he'd be sort of quite a Mourinho type player. But I think Mourinho is just like in love with Eric Dyer, and I think he's going to sort of just get him to do all the stuff that Sissoko does. I think it's the first game that Sissoko hadn't started all season. The against West Ham.
It'd be interesting because is it Ndombele as well didn't
I
play.
think he's got a knock.
Yeah, so it's one game, isn't it? That's the thing. We just don't
Yeah.
really know what Jose is going to do with that team longer term, and that's why it is a bit of a punt to move for their players for me. But there we go. It's one of those ones where if you go early, sometimes you can reap the rewards. Like people who went early on Son, quite a few people even captained him. I think I saw on Twitter anyway. You only see the people who do well on Twitter. I saw a few people
Yeah.
who've done
Well,
well on Twitter.
I mean, they all delivered, didn't they? I mean, you could have gone for Ali or Son or Mora or Kane or Aurier. They all got points. So,
Mm. Well, let's
um,
hope they are options because the more we've got, the better. That's all I'm going to say. Like their ownership's not high enough for. There's about two. I'll go back to my team being boring. Basically, Kevin De Bruyne and Heung-min Son are about the only two players that I have that worry about. Like what you said, like when you worry about a certain player who's gonna hurt you or they get the ball, it's literally those two for me. Like I can't think of any other player that I don't own that really scares me, and that's just boring. I'm used to going into matches like Saladus or when everyone's got him as captain and literally shitting my pants, and I need to get that feeling back as I feel too comfortable.
yeah. Well, the trouble is, there's not much you can do because there just isn't enough good options this season. It's just it all just feels a bit kind of stale, doesn't it? And there's
Leicester and Chelsea combined with Liverpool have basically broken FPL for me now.
and I
That's
mean,
like people are saying there. Sorry to cut you off. People are
no,
saying that we're going to get to the questions now. We may as well have been rambling on. Who are the good players to pick for the Christmas schedule? And to be honest, why change? I just think if you've got 2 or 3 Liverpool, 2 or 3 Leicester, and 2 or 3 Chelsea, that's basically like makes up your entire squad. I can't argue against any of them. They're pretty much going to play the same team every single week. Like, they're not far off doing that at the moment already, those three teams, especially Leicester, who don't really have any other side issues to worry about. And they're just doing so well, and they've got such good games. It's just like,
Well, the one,
go
the
on.
one, the one thing I disagree with you on is Chelsea, because I thought him dropping Mount was quite interesting against
We did
City.
call it last week that it might happen.
Yeah, and yeah, you did actually, didn't you? I think you said that you thought he might sort of want Mount's kind of industry, but um, I think it is interesting that he dropped him and did favour those three, because you've got to think one of those three midfielders is going to have to drop out if Mount comes in, or it's going to have to be Pulisic. How is he going to juggle that?
Yeah, it's the problem, isn't it? It's an issue, but the Mount had started every game up to that point, and we said this was the game, if any, where he might drop out. His form had dipped a little bit. He had his three centre midfielders who have been playing extremely well, and obviously it was Man City, so there was always a chance. I do think now for home for West Ham, do you need to have Kovacic, Jorginho, and Kante for that game? I don't think you really do. So I do think Mount will come back in for one of them, probably Kovacic. And
I
then
see, but Kovacic out of those three is the kind of the more attacking one anyway. He's the one who has been getting the ball and trying to dribble past players and kind of make something happen. I mean,
yeah,
you could
he's
argue,
playing really well.
and Kante he was actually really attacking against City
Yeah.
too.
Well, I suppose it could be Jorginho. I don't see any world where Kante's left out. So I think it's one of Jorginho or Kovacic, and Jorginho's basically played every game. So I just think that you probably would. I mean, it's at home to West Ham. I feel like you'd play Mount because he's going to be obviously more advanced, but he can play out left as well. So you're right. What I said about the three teams and going over Christmas, I think Chelsea are out of those three the most risky in terms of rotation in certain areas. But is that just like fear that we've got that hasn't really been shown? I mean, Mount, this was pretty much the first week Mount was dropped, and to this point, there hasn't been hardly any rotation for Chelsea, really. Hasn't been, not in the league.
No, but they've had Kante out, and Pulisic has been in absolutely mad form, hasn't he?
Yeah, and they have got lots and lots of games. So
Yeah,
maybe not them, but I think my point still stands that they've broken FPL because they're just so cheap and they're doing so well. And as a
yeah.
result, you can just have 3 Chelsea, 3 Liverpool, 3 Leicester. That's 9 people in your team already for Christmas, where the majority of them are going to play most of the games, and they're easily affordable. So why? I don't think you go breaking your team necessarily for the Christmas schedule. I worry. I mean, I think there's still some things that have worked in the past, like going centre backs over full backs is generally a pretty good idea over Christmas, just because you might get the odd rotation. But if they're just going to miss one game, I wouldn't like destroy your team just for sort of that security of thinking, yeah, I've got a player who's going to play every game over Christmas. If he's still getting less points when he actually turns up, it's still pointless for me. I
Mm.
think I don't think you address it too much. I haven't really got any particular plans. It's like people like Robertson. I know he's carrying this injury at the moment, but he might miss one game. But am I therefore going to pick Van Dijk over Robertson because he might miss one game? Not on the evidence this season so far.
No.
What about you? Have you any particular plans for Christmas?
I've not got any particular plans for Christmas. I mean, just kind of take it as it comes. Just take it as it comes. I think it is really tricky. I mean, we're both in positions where we need to use this period, I think, to try and get some ground back. I mean, ideally, I want to be coming out of Christmas at a rank no worse than around sort of 200,000, 300,000 to have any chance of getting into the top 10k, which is
Mm.
still the aim, which seems like a long way off at this point. And to
I
do
think a lot
that,
of people drop off as well over
yeah,
Christmas
yeah. I
because
mean,
they focus on life idiots rather than
yeah.
fantasy
But
football.
then this
What are they
this does
thinking?
seem like the kind of season where you can be punished for trying to be too clever. Like you take Mount out because he's not, you're worried about him not playing, and then he plays against West Ham at home and gets a brace, and then you're even further behind than when you were before. It's just I'm just finding this season really difficult to call. I think I'm looking at my team now, and this is the first time all season where I felt kind of in control of things. Like I've got a bit of a plan with Aubameyang. I've got a plan to get Lundstrom in and Jimenez. I've got all the kind of main culprits. I've got Madison in there now. Um, my team isn't particularly exciting, but I feel like I've got
So template, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah,
it doesn't
yeah,
sit well with me. I think that's what it is. We just don't like to be. I mean, we were actually doing all right now and like steadily climbing. And I think if you just leave it, we probably will. There's always that urge in me. Like those Palace fixtures are so good. I want me some Patrick Van Aanholt. Like he is. I definitely want him in my team. But it's like, why am I going to break up Tomori, Lundstrom, Soyuncu, and then two Liverpool fullbacks like with their games? Like I could get rid of one of those Liverpool fullbacks like we've talked about for say Van Aanholt. But A, what am I going to do with the money that I save? I don't really know.
yeah.
And is Patrick Van Aanholt, even with those good games, going to outscore Robertson or Trent Alexander? Probably not. So
I think it's got to be. And we were talking about this the other week. When was it FPL Dave asked us if we're going to change our strategies up? It's got to be well, not sensible. It's got to be like logical in some way to justify getting in one of these differentials. And Ali to me is the standout because I think he's got a new manager now, new position. He looks pretty important to the way Mourinho's going to set up. He is someone who I think is going to come out of the cold and come to the team and shake things up. But really, looking at everyone else, I just can't see where that's going to come from.
no.
Like,
I think you could go for I think we mentioned most of them. Danny Ings is an option. I think Ayu's potentially an option. You got Patrick Van Aanholt if you want to hit those Palace fixtures. You got maybe arguably a second Sheffield United defender or for their great games, and then you got Dele Alli. And aside from that, I'm struggling to see. I mean, you could argue Rashford is still a decent pick, but apart from them, I honestly can't think of anyone else from any other team that I really like.
no.
And that's sad.
No, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Like it is sad. Even someone like Mendy could be someone who for 5.8, like playing on the left side for City. You know what
Yeah,
Mendy's
but
capable of, and then he's not
he
playing
was
in,
capable
and
of.
then he didn't play, did he? Against was it Liverpool? He didn't play against, and they played Angelino instead,
Yeah,
with
exactly.
seemingly no injury for him. Like it's just
And when he's played, he's not been great.
no.
He's not looked the same. I think that injuries have taken a toll at the moment. The only other one actually we haven't mentioned, I guess you could make a case for is Jesus. Now that Aguero's injured,
Yes, yep.
um, but with Man City like not looking that great and their game's still pretty much awful, and then obviously you've got that. I guess you're almost booking another transfer, right? Because when Aguero backs, you're going to have it gets back, you're going to have that issue again. Um, is it worth even taking that punt when you've got the VAJ, the beautiful VAJ?
Well, my biggest worry about Jesus is the fact that I know how much City and Guardiola want the Champions League, and it's one of the reasons why I decided to sell Sterling in the end, because I think like he just is going to want to protect his most important players. I know obviously they still want to win the Premier League, but he's just obsessional with getting that Champions League. And now Jesus is their only fit striker. I do wonder, just because he's the only fit striker doesn't mean he's going to play him every week. In fact, in
People are
some
saying
ways,
Sterling might go up top.
yeah, in some ways, the fact he's the only fit striker might mean he plays less in the league because he chooses to play him in the Premier League. It's a bit like when when Zinchenko got injured and everyone was like, "Well, that's Mendy cemented in the team," and then like I think Cancelo went over and then Angelino's come in and now Mendy's he's because he's just so by far the best left back there. It's almost like he gets wrapped up in cotton wool even more and ironically plays less. It's very bizarre at City.
I
Like
get what you're saying, but I think Jesus would still play. I mean, whenever Aguero's been out in the past or vice versa, they've pretty much just played him like the other one permanently. Maybe like an early-ish sub and then switch Sterling up top for like last 20 minutes or something. I think that's what will probably continue to happen. He's still quite young, but
it could, yeah. I mean, it could just be me massively overthinking it.
yeah, I think Mendy's just there's been rotate. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say A, I know what Pep's going to do because I certainly don't, and B, I think there's been other issues with some of those players that not particular to that because when it comes to Aguero and Jesus, it literally they usually just play one or the other, and yeah, Sterling comes on for those last 20 minutes or so. But then that means Sterling's getting flogged himself. The games aren't that great at the moment. You say that this week away to Newcastle was probably their last like decent-ish game, really. I mean, away to Burnley, so it's okay, I guess, but not that great. Home to Man United, I mean, it is a derby. We do generally like occasionally turn up for sort of stuff like this, even though we're awful.
And then Arsenal though, that's gonna be bloodbath.
Yeah, but Emre's probably gone by then.
Yeah,
maybe.
Must be.
And then it's home to Leicester, and it's just a lot of money to spend on someone like Sterling. I've got in my team, and one of the questions we got, or quite a lot of the questions were, what should I do with Sterling? I'm going to keep him because I don't know who else I'd bring in. Maybe I'd go to Salah if I didn't have double Liverpool defence, like in an ideal world, or maybe I'd just drop him down to Kevin De Bruyne. But most people have got both of those. But then again, don't know what I'd do with the money, so I'm just going to sit here and stubbornly keep playing the guy. Probably captain him again. Well, I'm not. I've captained him like probably something like 9 weeks out of 13 or something. And that's pretty much why I'm languishing.
Fool you once, shame on me. Fool me 9 times.
Yeah.
No,
so when you ask me the question what to do with Sterling, basically don't ask me. That's my answer. Don't ask me. I'll be keeping him. I don't expect much to be happening the way it's going at the moment. But honestly, like, who would you even go for apart from Salah in that bracket? I think you just completely ignore the expensive midfield bracket otherwise. I mean, I'm assuming here everyone's got Mane. That's the thing. Probably people don't. I don't know why you wouldn't have Mane, but there we go.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem. Like, there just isn't enough premium options to kind of know really what to do. I mean, you could use the money and, say for example, you could say, okay, I've got Sterling and McGinn. I could do Sterling to Ali and McGinn to Pulisic or Martial or someone. So you can use the money to kind of
spread the funds
a bit. And I can see if you like, I've watched the majority of this Leicester game, Villa game. I wouldn't even have known McGinn was playing. Like, he's just been so completely anonymous, and it's been other Villa players sort of running the show. And McGinn's at an awkward price at 5.8. There isn't really anyone I can move him to easily. So I've got the funds from Aubameyang to do something with McGinn sort of next week or the week after. If I didn't have Aubameyang though, I think, and I still had Sterling, I probably would be looking to do that, because McGinn to Pulisic just seems like a really, really good upgrade, or McGinn to Maddison or someone like that. Especially the way Sterling's just got off the ball. Do you know what's hilarious though that we haven't mentioned? Mahrez. We both get him in because we think Bernardo Silva's going to be banned, and then we keep him for ages, and then Bernardo Silva doesn't get banned. And then Bernardo Silva does get banned, and Mahrez plays and scores, gets 10 points, and we both haven't got him.
Yeah, and we went ridiculously early on it apparently, although we were given deadlines that were phantom deadlines.
It's like we just knew that Bernardo Silva was going to be out and Mahrez was going to play and score
whenever he takes to the pitch, pretty much.
Yeah,
it's dumb, isn't it? And just listening to you there saying about spreading out your funds, it's kind of what I tried to do halfway through the season halfway through the season so far. That when I sold Sterling and thought, I'm going to captain Kevin De Bruyne and just kind of spread the funds out. And it's like with that VARVAJ front line where no one's like even above like 10 million. And then you go to midfield and you can have all of these players you've listed, Maddison, Martial, Pulisic, all these guys that are in that range. And then it's like really only Mane and Son. I mean, Son, you'd argue is possibly even the higher end of mid, but not quite in premium. Maybe he is. And then you got Mane. And then again, you go to the defence, Soyuncu, Pereira, all these players, they're all just mid-price. You could just have mid-price across your back line, midfield, and attack apart from Mane. And it's strange because I'm used to having budget enablers with heavy hitters to captain. It's just not working out. I mean, we're at the point now where it's like people ask who you captain in this week. I've got so many options to pick in my team. Inevitably I'll get it wrong, but really I should just probably put it on Vardy again, right? So everyone will probably do, and he'll probably just continue to churn out the points because that seems to be the wave. But as a result of that, I don't really want to captain Vardy yet again because that's where I want to take my punts. My team's so template that I feel like I want to be punty with the captain armband, and it's just not working for me. Like, I keep going back to Sterling because no one else is going there. Like, incessant that he is actually going to... I mean, I'm tempted to captain him away to Newcastle. Talk me out of it. Because I've got Mane at home to Brighton. I've got Abraham at home to West Ham. Vardy at home to Everton. Do you know what I mean? Like no one
Yeah.
would captain Sterling in this
No, I mean
position.
he doesn't he definitely doesn't seem like doesn't seem like the best option. I think Vardy and Mane
I'm
are going to
so
be.
bored as.
Yeah, I know. Well, I saw that you had the captaincy on Pulisic earlier, right? That's quite.
Yeah, that's who I'm going with currently. It's definitely. I don't want to do Vardy. Mane is probably the one that I would do if I was being slightly sensible, because I still think he's, obviously amazing. And you've already said Brighton, pretty
Yeah,
shite.
yeah,
He'll probably rip you a new one.
they
Then I
will.
look at West Ham's goalkeeper, and yeah, his performance just so bad. Really, really was awful. He should have stopped a couple of those goals, and he is generally the worst keeper I've probably seen in the league.
Yep.
And I think, well, therefore, I want someone who shoots a goal. And Abraham and Pulisic have both had like 9-10 shots in the past few weeks or something. And I feel like they're going to be instructed, especially if he's in the sticks, to shoot on sight. And Pulisic is one of the most selfish players in the game.
Yeah.
So I'm favouring him because A, he's a midfielder, and B, Abraham nearly always goes off on like the 70th minute or whatever.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I think he's a decent punt this week.
well, look, I mean, look. You look at last week, and there's lots of talk about the captaincy and loads of good options. Actually, they pretty much all delivered. Like Sterling was an armpit away from getting a goal. He's the only one that didn't. But like Aubameyang did, Lacazette got points, Vardy got points, Mane got points.
Everyone but my captain, basically.
Yeah, everyone but your captain. But like, it just showed like there's not really that much when there's all these good options. Like you're pretty unlucky. Like if you captain Pulisic, you're gonna be pretty unlucky if he doesn't get anything.
Yeah, but that's kind of the way I like to do that. Have that pump with the captain's armband, because I don't think it can hurt you that much. Like most people went Vardy, I went Sterling, and our points are pretty much the same, right?
Mm,
You don't really lose out that much as long as you own the player who goes off.
mm.
So when you couple someone like Pulisic, who isn't owned by a lot of people, with that armband, that's how you can get those massive rank shifts, and that's what I'm going for. I don't want to go for the Vardy, which everyone's going to go, because I've got him. So I'm going to get half the points anyway.
I
And
mean, normally though, you would try and captain someone when everyone else had a pretty rubbish game, not when Vardy's got Everton and Mane has got Brighton.
Yes, I know. I do know this. I know this. I just don't want to conform.
Yeah, I don't blame you. If I had Pulisic, I would be really tempted. I think the Champions League is worth keeping an eye on because Pulisic, he had a slight injury, didn't he, over the international break, and then he will have played 90 against City. And then if he plays another 90 in the Champions League, and
Oh, there's a
Hudson-Odoi
chance
is
he doesn't
back.
even start the game. I
Yeah,
could
well,
be sitting
yeah,
here with a
yeah,
20-minute
yeah,
cameo from him. Yeah, I know.
yeah. I mean, I think that's just why Leicester are just so great because you just haven't got that worry of rotation at all with them, and
Mm.
that is what is burning, the City players and the Chelsea players a little bit and things. And, even I know Jimenez does keep delivering even after Europe, but you have always got that slight worry about their minutes after, flying off to like Uzbekistan or whatever and getting back on Friday morning and then playing a Sunday afternoon
Well,
game. Like
Jimenez
this.
seems pretty much immune. I mean, he got back like the day before the game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he is literally just invincible. Uh,
Yeah, what a
but
guy.
I know. But yeah, I just it happens pretty much every year. You get like a resurgence from a team who don't really have to worry about Europe. I think Europe does play quite a big part in quite a lot. Because I mean, and especially because I think City are just all guns blazing for it this
I
year.
think we need a bit of FPL drama. I feel like we just had Aguero go out, but in the past that would have been big news. Not really making waves these days. So I feel like we need a Vardy injury or a Lundstrom injury or something, not to wish it upon them, but do you know what I mean? Something to mix it up, to
Just to shake
fancy it.
things up a bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
imagine
all
if
like
Vardy
a
went.
Kane. I just think a Kane hat trick against Bournemouth, and and I think suddenly people would start to be. I mean, if Kane hits a hat trick against Bournemouth, that would throw my plans out because I would be really tempted to do Aubameyang to Kane, and then that would ruin my
I'd do it
Lundstrom
this
plan.
week if I was you. Forget Aubameyang to Norwich.
Nah, I'm giving him Norwich. I'm not losing him before Norwich. Not after keeping him all this time.
You have to get ahead of the hat tricks. If he hits the hat trick against Bournemouth, you're saying. If he hits the hat trick against Bournemouth, or get it before. Look at Pookie, mate.
I swear to God, Luke, if Aubameyang blanks against Norwich and then scores against Brighton, I will burn the Emirates to the ground.
Right, if Kane gets a hattie and Aubameyang blanks, how are you going to feel?
No, I feel fine because it's not. I'm not considering it. Like it's not. It wouldn't be like a
Mm,
decision that like a
you weren't
50-50
considering
call.
it until now, I hope.
No, I'm not selling Aubameyang before Norwich. There's no way. But I would sell Aubameyang before Brighton,
Really? Okay.
and then that could. I mean, Aubameyang's got Brighton and then West Ham after Norwich.
Well, I would say we want things to mix up. I think the more likely thing that we're going to have to mix up is the sacking of managers. How long can they continue? There's so many people ready for the chopping block. You've got Silva at Everton,
Yep.
Emre at Arsenal, and who am I missing? There's someone else who's doing
Pellegrini.
Pellegrini at West Ham, exactly. So
Yep.
maybe that will change some things and give us some new. I mean, there'll be all this talk of suddenly this player might be an option, etc., etc. So,
Well, even
I just want it to happen.
Solskjaer with Pochettino now available.
This is true. However, being a Man United fan and seeing our recent history, I don't know. You could get God himself in to manage us. I still wouldn't. Would not
you had
stick
him last year.
First. Oh, what? Come on.
Apparently.
Louis van Gaal's the greatest manager we've ever had, and we got rid of him.
Wow, that's depressing.
Yeah, that's a joke, by the way. That was so painful.
Yeah. Oh, right. Wesley's just missed an open goal. Oh dear.
That's what he does, doesn't he?
Yep. And McGinn, I still don't think has touched the ball. I don't even know if he's on the pitch. He'd probably still be top point scorer for your Sky team, but
I was just about to log in and check that. Yeah, I'm going to see, but my phone's turned off, so we'll have to await that stunning revealment on the next episode, maybe. But I think that's just about it. Az, you got anything else you want to say?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we're entering a pretty exciting period. We've got our first midweek game coming up next week. It's Champions League, and then it's normal weekend fixture, and then it's midweek fun, isn't it? And then weekend fixture again. So we're entering quite a intense period of matches.
Separate the men from the boys, as they say.
Absolutely. We need things to be shaken up a bit. We need a couple of hat tricks from random players, and yeah, it should be I say it should be exciting, but you've depressed me a bit now, so I don't know if I will.
I have that effect on people. I also made a note on my notes right here to say never make a bet with Az again, and that's because I think I'm just going to pay out on the West Ham Burnley thing already.
Yeah, you probably should. Yeah, I'm actually. It's not actually. I was thinking about that today. I was like, I must be absolutely smashing Luke on that bet now. They're only 5 points ahead of them.
And then the new manager's going to come in. It's a long old season. I've still got hope.
Come on, Burnley. What I mean, what a job. I mean, let's just finish on that. What a job Sean Dyche and Chris Wilder are doing at United and Burnley. I mean,
yeah, well, that's why he's going to be managing Everton in the next few days, and then you're going to lose your bet.
Yeah, you're probably right. 6th and 7th in the table, though, both on 18 points.
Yeah, incredible.
Amazing. Yep. Anyway,
right, I think that's just about it. I shall bid you adieu and say goodbye, my friend.
And I will speak to you probably next Monday.
Catch you later, mate.
See you later, man.